Hi, how's it going? Welcome to Something for Every Nerd. I'm Noah. I just got out of Rise of Skywalker. Um, I I want to start off this video saying I am a ball of emotions right now. I'm not going to say anything about the movie until the tail end of this because I feel like I need to get a few thoughts out first. Um, I hate beating a dead horse. I do. And for the past several videos of mine, anyways, I keep talking about my anxiety and depression, and I hate talking about it. I hate that it's a part of my life, but these are also a part of my life, and I can't get rid of these any more than I can get rid of that. This past couple of days leading up to today have been very difficult for me. I've been under a lot of self-made stress, and that goes without, all of this goes without saying. The point that I'm trying to make is that 30 minutes before I walk into Cinemark and see Rise of Skywalker, I'm sitting at a table in a Burger King with my dad, trying to cram food in our faces before we head out to see the movie. I'm messaging some of my dear friends, and I'm just talking about how nervous I am and how worried I was about. I'll go in and say that after Last Jedi, I was a little worried. I was a little bit more relieved when I found out that J.J. Abrams would be returning. But and I was fine. I was fine in regards to Star Wars for a while, but like I said, this week has just been really rough for me. Uh, I've just been struggling a lot this week, and I was getting ready to. I was still at work, and a friend had. I was texting a friend and said, really excited to see Star Wars, and they're like, "Oh, I had heard that there are some bad reviews out." I was like, "Oh, shit. Okay." I wonder what those were. So, tempted, I looked up a few things. I didn't read much, mostly headlines and like a few sentences in the first few paragraphs. And critically, they're in their mind. Critically, they're correct on some points, but not all of them. And I remind myself, it took a lot for me to remind myself this, but these are the same people that, really have no idea about. I won't say they don't have any idea. I'll say that they have their own set of standards. We'll put it that way. We'll be completely fair. We won't be biased towards Star Wars one way or the other. They have their own set of standards by what makes a film, let alone a franchise film, especially a Star Wars film, worthwhile. There's been a lot in the news lately about things like Martin Scorsese saying that the MCU is shit and that those aren't films, and that movies like that are what's ruining the industry because movies like, I don't know, whatever the fuck Martin Scorsese just made didn't turn out well or something like that. And this is an argument that I've had in my theater courses when I was in the university, and I was taking my major in theater. The director of the program and I would butt heads frequently on what makes good theater and what is good theater. And then me and another head of the department would butt heads on what is art. He came into one day while I was working on the set. I was listening to like my Disney playlist or something like that, and he's like, "Oh, come on, man! I thought you wanted to be an artist, yet you surround yourself with this Disney and Star Wars shit." He has a very thick accent, but anyways, he just comes in, says all that, and we go back and forth. But anyways, so critics will have their own opinion on what makes a movie good or bad. And I can see how critics would have better favored Last Jedi as opposed to Rise of Skywalker. And I mean, we make the joke on the podcast that I hate Last Jedi. I'm just annoyed at like the PR bullshit that came out with Last Jedi, where it just created a dichotomy in like the world where it was like you either love Last Jedi or you hate women. And it was really hard for me to have any sort of critical opinion about Last Jedi because it just seemed like everybody that anytime anybody tried to say anything critical towards Last Jedi, people would be like, "Oh, you just don't understand it." And I'm like, "Well, you're probably right. I don't understand what Rian Johnson was going for, nor will we. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in the next few days, Rian Johnson will come out and say, yeah, these were some of the ideas I had, or no, J.J. Abrams just totally flipped what I flipped and then made his movie." But anyways, my personal issues with Last Jedi was that the entire middle section just felt like it hit the brakes unnecessarily. Like, the beginning was good, the ending was great. I loved the ending of Last Jedi more than I can say. Like, I think Rian Johnson did some great things. He does have a very good cinematic eye. Like, those battle sequences were shot frickin' beautifully. The throne room is, like, it's not my favorite lightsaber duel, because my favorite lightsaber duel is Obi-Wan v. Maul in Rebels. So that's neither here nor there. But that throne room duel, amazing. Rey practicing on Act 2, amazingly shot. It's just, it has this like perfect cinematic eye of like old samurai films, which are the inspiration for Star Wars. These like wide angled shots where you could see the full choreography of everything. And those were really good and really great. And I applaud him for the work that he did on that film. But I feel like his own personal agenda got in the way of storytelling, that he wanted to go so far out of his way to be like, oh, I want to have a meta-narrative about Star Wars and what it means, and like how none of all this stuff that people think it means is actually what it really means, you know? Like, you want to talk about, you know, Luke throwing the lightsaber away because he's done with it. You know, there's, I understand why they did that, but at the same time, it still felt so far out of character that with The Last Jedi alone, without Rise of Skywalker, made it seem like Luke was just this cold, callous asshole who didn't care anymore. And I get that that's where he was trying to go with that, but that wasn't Luke. And like I said, I hate that it got to a point where it was like, we need this next film to say whether or not this film was valid. And for some people, it didn't need to be that way. Some people were like, yes, I love Last Jedi, it's amazing, and that's great. You know? But, you know, that wasn't the case for me. And critics liked that Star Wars did something different, and that they took a different path, and that they took this thing that's this cultural phenomena that just blew up beyond anything the world had seen before, and really asked, okay, but why? And that's a fair question to ask, why? And I'll tell you, for me, it was hope. It was always hope. It was escapism, and it was hope. Like, I don't have the full memories of when I was a child anymore, but like, from what my father says, when I first saw the re-releases of New Hope, Empire, and Jedi in theaters, and then when I saw Phantom Menace and the other prequel trilogy, it was this thing that just gave me this wonderful world to just imagine and play and be something other than myself and think about things other than myself, while also giving me things that I could use in my daily life. I mean, it's like the same thing that I say about Kingdom Hearts. I mean, Kingdom Hearts was there for me in a time when I had no friends, and it taught me valuable lessons about friendship that I still hold and use to this day. And Star Wars for me was family, it was fun, it was hope in the midst of unbelievable odds. And that's what Star Wars was to me, and Star Wars is going to be different for everyone. And so I'm going to say this, like, critics, good on you for, writing your reviews and whatnot, and for saying Last Jedi is great or Rise of Skywalker is so-so, whatever, I don't care. In my mind, Rise of Skywalker is everything that I could have wanted in a Star Wars movie, and I guess that isn't enough for the critics, and you know what? I don't care. I really don't care anymore. Like, I fought the Last Jedi battle forever. Like me personally, my issues with Last Jedi were pacing, storytelling, Chekhov's gun, and my problems with the female characters of Rose and General Holdo were that they weren't done well enough. They didn't have enough screen time to fully develop their characters. Before Holdo just yeets herself into Snoke's starship and dies, and then Rose is unconscious for the entire ending of the film. I mean, I thought Rose pushed Finn to a great point. And as much as I don't like the character of DJ, he pushed Finn to a point that he needed to get to for Rise of Skywalker. And without them, Finn wouldn't have gotten there. He'd have ran away. And I get that. But I just feel like it was unnecessary for Rose to get fridged, and really Holdo to get fridged. Like, that's my problem, is they fridged two potentially really awesome female characters that just didn't pay out well for me. Like, I enjoyed Kelly Marie Tran's performance, and I would have loved to have seen more of Laura Dern, like at the top of the film even. Like, the fact that she didn't come in until the second act, like the middle of the second act, and then dies at the top of the third, was just kind of like, I don't know. But, and the whole Holdo v Poe thing could have been worked a little bit better. Like, their whole, I'm not telling you my plan because you can't be trusted, really put a lot more in jeopardy than needed to be. But I understand that was also done to push Poe to be like, hey, I have to respect the chain of command. I can't just fly off the handle whenever I want. But she could have worked with him more instead of against him. But anyways, so that's enough about The Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker, like I said, I laughed at the top of the film. I cried tremendously in the middle, and I just had a blast at the end. And when the credits finally rolled, I just started crying again, because it's like, it felt complete. It felt like every nod and every wink was addressed. And again, that's something to the critics' dismay a little bit, but I feel like it wasn't necessarily pandering per se, as much as I felt everything was just appropriately done. There were even a couple things that didn't even need to happen that I was just totally floored and laughed hysterically when they did, or cried tremendously even more so when they did. And I just, I can't wait until like a few weeks when I can just do a full dive into the spoilers of this movie and everything, especially on the podcast. It made me feel great, and it took me from this dark place that I was literally 30 minutes before the film and put me at a place where, yes, I'm still dealing with like a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety right now, but I'm happier. I'm smiling. I'm laughing. I'm on the verge of crying again, but crying for good reasons this time. And it just recaptured everything that Star Wars was for me. Like, it's just joy in my mind. Like Star Wars, like I said, Star Wars is hope, and that's what it'll always be for me. And while I'm sad that the Skywalker saga has ended, I really want to. I can't wait to see what the future of Star Wars holds. Like, I'm definitely still annoyed at the Mandalorian for that cliffhanger that they had in their last episode. So I gotta wait until next Friday to see the episode so that I can have a little closure on that before they go into season 2. But, yeah, no, I will and always will love Star Wars, from abandoned games like Force Unleashed to, you know, to the new the new canonical stuff. You know, even in the background here, there's like all the other like Star Wars books that have been marked legends now. So all of it, like I wouldn't be dressed like this or spending hundreds of dollars on lightsabers if I didn't care about this franchise or this film and want to just have like a piece of it in my life always in every way possible. So eventually we'll get into a more spoiler-free or spoiler-filled review of Rise of Skywalker, but I just really had to get out like the last nail in the coffin for The Last Jedi, and like an acknowledgement of the critics and of everything that Star Wars is, good and bad, and just say, you know, whatever Star Wars is to you, I hope that you find it in Rise of Skywalker, or found it in Rise of Skywalker if you've seen it or if you've yet to see it. If you've been disenfranchised by Star Wars because of decisions that they've made, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, I'm sorry for you. I'm not directly sorry because it's not my fault, but I mean, I'm sorry for you. And I hope that whatever Star Wars is to you, you can still hold on to and make it wonderful and good for you. And yeah, just like whatever Star Wars is to you guys. Like, and this goes even beyond just Star Wars. Whatever, if there is something or some things in your life that mean the world to you, don't lose it. Find it. Fight for it. Hold on to it. It will be there for you if you're there for it. I'm getting really deep and philosophical right now, and these are genuinely my true feelings. Like, I felt really down after Last Jedi because, like, it felt like Star Wars was done, because, like, people either hated it or loved it, and you couldn't have any other different opinion. But, like, that's something that this world needs to remember again, is it's okay to like things, and it's okay to not like things. You're not cool if you hate something, and you're not cool if you like something. You just like something or you don't like something. Don't be an asshole if you don't like it, and don't be annoying if you do like it. That last one's something that I need to work on, not being annoying if I do like something. But, you know, there's good and bad everywhere. But anyways, it's almost 2 a.m. my time, so I gotta sign off here and get ready for sleep and work in the morning. But, oh my god, I can't wait to see it again. Because this time I'll be prepared, I'll have tissues, I won't be crying into my costume, and then burning my eyes with salty popcorn hands, and making myself cry more. Oh, gosh. Uh, but yeah, um, the only further thing I will say is, God, I I hope wherever Carrie Fisher is, like if you personally believe in an afterlife or not, if there even is an afterlife of some kind or not, that Carrie Fisher is just kind of like smiling over her whole Star Wars family, including the fans, because I wholeheartedly believe they gave her character the most beautiful respect and tribute possible in that film. And oh my gosh, I just wish that she would have been here to see it. And she will continue to be an inspiration and a role model, even though she had her demons as well. But she was a fighter. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. I promise that more content will be coming back to the channel at some point. I still have to finish putting all the Life is Strange 2 stuff out. I gotta finish putting Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff out, especially before Remind comes out in literally a month. I gotta get my Star Wars Galaxy's Edge stuff out. I gotta put that up on the channel at some point, and then I'll have more Galaxy's Edge stuff, because in a few weeks I'm gonna be going with our dear friends Joe, Biscuit, and Kofi to California, and we're gonna go to Disneyland and hopefully stop by Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I mean, I'm at least planning on just bolting right for there as soon as we walk in the gates. Like, I don't even know Disneyland, but I'm heading right there and just going home. But yeah, so keep an eye out for more content on the channel. It'll be less emotionally charged, I promise. But yeah, I will see you all. I'll see. Oh my gosh, I can't even speak right now. I will see you nerds next time. Goodbye, everyone, and may the Force be with you.